So if you're not familiar with me, and I know some people are new here, my name is Gail Grossman. I am a yoga educator and guide, and I'm the author of the book Restorative Yoga for Life. Um, Very happy to be sharing this practice with you. Uh, for me, I love to incorporate the change of the seasons into my practice. And ever since I started practicing Katona yoga, I have even more tools to share to be able to really teach you about why it's important to do a practice that is seasonal. So, the first piece is that we are part of what we call great nature, right? So, it's the big picture. And therefore, in order to balance our lives with what's going on outside of us, we basically want to look at how we can go with the flow. And so, what we do for ourselves is called our personal nature. And so we want to work the personal nature into the flow of great nature. And so, that being said, we are going to practice for spring today. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of background before we get moving, because I think it's really important for you to understand some of the principles. So, one is that spring is a time of year for new energy and new life and new dreams. All these things come to blossom. And so, as we're starting to move out of a colder time of year, although today it's fairly cold and definitely plays games with us, but it's a more introverted time of the year in the winter. And so, we want to welcome in the light, we want to welcome in the warmth of the spring. And there's definitely a freshness and an optimism in the atmosphere. And so I love it. Like you can feel it, like when the sun is shining on you, it really feeds your body, your mind, and your spirit. So, a couple other things you would want to know about springtime is that it is associated with the wood element. So, there's five elements that we look at. And so, the wood element is connected to the organs and the meridians of the liver and the gallbladder. And so, wood is something that represents new life. It's about rapid growth. It's about flexibility, adaptability, and the color green, hence why I'm wearing green today. Um, Also, these are very influential organs, right? They're involved in the process of detoxification and purification and digestion and the energy of expansion and movement, which is why we want to move in the spring. And the liver and gallbladder, however, are also easily agitated. And so this can impact your digestion. And so it also can affect and trigger anger and frustration and create some mild bouts of depression and also our arthritis in the body. So, the other aspect of wood is that it refers to our roots and our connections to the earth. And so, by orienting our yoga postures and really understanding the alignment and working in that way, you can become more grounded and expansive. So, the other thing that's important to note, and one of the reasons why we want to do a practice that really benefits us in the springtime, is that as we move into the next season, right, we want to be feeling well in our bodies. And so, we don't want to come with baggage from the previous season. So, it's really important to do things like spring cleaning, right? It's not just a coincidence that we do that, right? We really want to look at cleaning out our closets, cleaning out the emotions that aren't serving us, cleaning out the things that don't serve us well, and therefore making space for the things that we do want to do, that we do want to put our time into, that we do want to put effort into. And so it's very, very important to do this process. And it may mean that you do a spring cleanse, right? Some people like to do cleanses, but if it's not your thing, don't feel like that's what you have to do. Just add more water to your diet. Throw some lemon in there. That'll help purify things. And definitely eat a little bit more cleanly, especially green foods. Okay, so and then the other thing is that, as I mentioned, like, you really want to look at this season and how it affects the next season. So part of this practice is to kind of look at, what did we do before, right? So we're coming out of winter. Winter is the season of the kidneys, right? So sometimes we're a little bit swampy if our kidneys aren't doing the right thing, and the kidneys feed the lungs. So therefore, we really want to make sure that everything is flowing here. So the important things that we can do is stay cool, right? Don't let ourselves get overheated. Get good sleep, right? Eat good food, do some movement, and even take the time to write down your ideas, things that are coming up for you that might be, you know, ideas that you want to see come to fruition. And that's really, really important. And go outside. Definitely spend time outside, be in nature. And then try to avoid things like eating too much food, eating drinking too much alcohol, and also watching too much television. It's the interesting thing in Chinese medicine is that your internal organs always have an external organ. So in the case of the liver, your external organs are your eyes. So anytime you overstrain your eyes, it can affect the energy of the liver and make the liver sluggish, which we definitely don't want. And let's see, what else do I have to tell you before we get moving? Oh yes, and this is very important. Our liver channel and our gallbladder channels. So the liver channel begins in the inside of the big toe, and it travels up the inside of the foot, the ankle, and the leg until it reaches the groin. Then it circulates around the sexual organs and travels up to connect with the liver and gallbladder, where it then goes deep inside the body. And then once it connects there, it travels up the lungs and the mouth, and then it splits to meet the eyes. Okay. And then these two branches then join again, meeting at the forehead. So, and then the gallbladder meridian is one of the biggest channels, and it's in the inner arm, and it goes on the side of your body. Okay, so that is why we want to understand it, is because we want to give these areas a little bit of a stretch to help really benefit us. Anyway, our practice is very interesting because it's not a practice that we want to totally overheat us. So we want to keep it a little bit cooler because it will help calm the liver. And it does include some back bends, and back bends are important. And it's really about flushing the liver. And that way, when we enter spring and we feel like we have done that, then we're really like starting with a great foundation. So we happen to do some supported back bends, which are really great for rejuvenating your organs and taking pressure off where we might habitually sit. And we open up the lungs, the front body, and it really helps us to orient ourselves when we take the time to be sort of in a supported pose where we're not moving as much, right? And then lastly, I want to talk about the hands, because even the hands have, every part of us is like a fractal. So our hands each have an organ, and in the case of the liver, it's your thumbs, which is no accident that we actually have a very, what we call, liverish society right now, because everybody is texting all the time and really using our thumbs to communicate in a way that we didn't do even 20 years ago. So we really want to understand that that all things affect other things, right? So we want to be able to learn to counterbalance them. And so in this practice, we're really going to, you know, kind of look at these fractals and how we can orient ourselves well. Okay, so let's take a moment. We'll close our eyes and actually, you can sit cross-legged or you can come into what's going to be our first pose if you want to center that way. And I'm sitting on a block to make it a little bit easier on my feet and knees, and you might find that helps you as well. So you want to really put yourself on this spit. So whether you're sitting in a cross-legged position or you're sitting in Virasana, either way. And we're going to be starting with a breath. Okay. So first, let's just take a moment to close our eyes and just get ourselves situated and use your imagination, right? So even though I talked about the eyes, right, and I'm telling you, close your eyes, we also have the imagination. And that's equally as important aspect of working with our vision, right? So we want to keep engaging the imagination, keep going inward, have the inner vision and the outer vision. And so as you're here, you can envision that you're putting yourself on a spit from the crown of your head down through your skull, down through your palate, through your pericardium, through your perineum into the earth. And then just start to focus on your natural breath. Good. And then you're going to take your hands behind your head. And first you're going to open up. This is your inhale. And then your exhale, you're going to close. And so this is a Bastrika breath. So we're inhaling and exhaling. And you can add the sound of the breath so that you also engage your hearing, which is very important for soothing. And here it's a slight back bend and a slight forward bend in each direction. It's really starting to open up the back. And so the back of the body is the past, the front of the body is the future or your potential. So we never want the back to push the front, right? We want the memories to be something that are pleasant. And if they're not pleasant, then we need to let them go. And then you're going to come back to the center and now we'll twist it, right? So we want to turn to the right and then turn to the left on the inhale and exhale. So inhale right, exhale left. And part of this is your peripheral vision, right? It's where are you looking? Where are you seeing? So as you twist around, it's like your side view mirrors in a car, so you don't get blindsided. And then come back to the center. And now let your hands come to rest on your legs. Pause for a moment. You might feel a little energy swirling around you. Then we're going to do Sitali breathing. And Sitali is a cooling breath. So Sitali is where you make a straw with your tongue. Now, not everybody is able to make that straw, right? It's a totally genetic thing. So if you're not able to make the straw, you just stick the tongue out and sip the breath up the tongue. And if you are able to, you make that curled up tongue and you'll sip the breath up. And so we're going to inhale through the tongue. Close the mouth, exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the tongue. Exhale through the nose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Good. So you can use it anytime you start to feel overheated. So we'll come onto our hands and knees to just get things flowing a little bit. And you want to come onto your hands and then look at your hands, right? So that you really spread your fingers evenly, so not any finger has any more pressure than the other. And you want to shift your weight so that you really can feel the balance in the whole hand, not just the heel of the hand. And now you're going to start to undulate your spine, inhaling and exhaling. And it's equally this aspect of cat and cow is kind of like a looking out and a going in, which reminds me very much of the month of March, right? It's like getting warm, everybody goes outside, and then the next day it could be 10 degrees and everybody's got to be inside again. So we're sort of having this opportunity to go out and check things out, but then go in and still reflect. Good. Now, you're going to take your right knee to the middle and your left knee behind it. So you're crossing your legs. And then you want to think of the 3 points that are making contact of knee, foot, and foot. Now here, if you like, you can flip your hands around. This is very nice for opening up the wrists. And you're going to circle around clockwise. And you want to look out in front of you. So imagine that it's literally a clock and 12 o'clock is right out in front of you. And so you want to circle around all of the times on the clock. That way you have a good day. You've lived every hour. And then you want to change the direction. So you'll go counterclockwise now. So we're really trying to stir up our waters here when we're circling around. That's it. Good. Then we come back and we're going to change the cross. So the left knee will be in the front, the right knee will be behind it. And you'll go counterclockwise first, circling around. And then changing the direction of your circle. That's it. Great. Now you will uncross your legs, flip your hands back around. You're going to grab your block. And if you don't have a block, you can use a pillow or a folded up blanket so that you can elevate yourself. So what I mentioned before is we're coming into a supported back bend. And when we lift our pelvis and we kind of hoist up our pelvis at the sacrum, we're basically jacking up the rear end of a car. So this can really pump up your tires, which is your kidneys. And we're really taking pressure off the low back and opening the front of the pelvis and really feeding the breath to our kidneys. So this also calms down your adrenal glands and opens up your thighs as well. So when you come down, your block can go at the lowest height, or you might choose to take it up one level higher. Okay, and so here, try to plug your feet in and really feel the connection to the ground. And then you're going to hold the opposite elbow. So this is a way to kind of frame yourself up and think of that for your vision. But you're just going to take your arms above your head, holding opposite elbows. And we'll revisit this again a little bit later in our practice, but let's focus on the breath. 5 breaths in and out. And then lift up and then switch which hand is in front. So you're going to go back to the arms overhead and take 5 more breaths. Good. And bring the arms back down. You're going to lift your hips, take your block out. Take a moment there, hugging the knees back in towards you. Give a little squeeze. Good. And then you're going to rock up to sit. Come back onto your hands and knees again. Now, as you come back onto your hands and knees this time, okay, we're going to come into our downward facing dog. So again, look at how your hands are set up. Even pressure, curl your toes, and this time lift your knees off the ground. Good. And then just take a moment to jog out your legs. Bend one knee and bend the other. All right, so we want to open up the legs, backs of the legs, back body. Good. Now we're going to go back to cross legs. And you want your left knee behind your right knee here. And then you're going to come forward and take an upward facing dog, keeping the balls of the feet on the floor. And then go back to downward facing dog. Again, forward to upward facing. Back to downward facing. And one more time, forward to upward facing. And back to downward facing. And then drop to your knees again. All right, and this time, circle the hips to the right. Again, just to see if you've got any more fluidity in your hips. Getting that aspect a little bit more open, which gives us a better back bend. Good. And then you'll come back to dog and change the cross of the legs and do 3 more up dogs to down dogs on your own breath. Coming to your knees again, separating the feet, and then this time circling to the left. That's it. Beautiful. Okay, coming back to dog pose. And then uncrossing the legs. Now, you're going to step the right foot forward. And we're going to be coming into a variation of triangle forward bend. So your ball of your back foot will be pressed into the floor. Your heel might be lifted. The front knee should be bent to help you to get your hands to the ground. Okay. Now we're going to twist it. So left hand's going to go on the outside of the right foot and the right hand will come to the ground. And we're twisting the body first. Then we want to think that our corner of our left eye is looking up to the right. Okay. Then we're going to take the right arm, reach it up and swim it across and follow it with your hand. And then place the right hand on the inside of your right foot. Free your left hand. Now start to follow the left hand and take it across and then switch it. Right hand reaches up. Inhale, exhale across. Left hand, inhale, exhale across. One more time. Right hand up, inhale, following it, and then left hand and bring it across. Whoop. And then bring both hands back down to the ground. Now you're going to come into fan pose from here. So we're going to turn the feet to face the long side of your mat, and you'll place your hands down on the ground. So you want to really get the inner thighs here, that energy meridian here. Drop your head, lift your tail. Just take a few breaths here. Good. And then walk your hands to the right and then bend your left knee. So you get an even deeper stretch, still keeping the sole of your right foot on the floor. And then straighten up the left knee, bring your hands over to the left, and then bend the right knee. And feel the stretch into your inner left thigh. That's it. Good. And then bring it back to the middle. Excellent. Now we're going to walk back over to the right. And this time you're going to pivot your back foot and rise up into triangle pose, but don't come up to stand to come into your triangle. Do it from the ground, right? So we've got ligaments and tendons, and they're all about being grounded and working from that stability, right? So, and the muscles of the body. So the right hand remains down, the left hand will come up to the sky. Okay, and so here we're getting that inner thigh again, which is going to be our liver channel. But let's take our left arm up and over, and that's going to get your gallbladder as well. So get a nice little side stretch. That's it. Beautiful. Excellent. And then bring your hands back down to the ground. And from there, you're going to start to bend your knee. Okay, and you'll push off your back foot. Okay, we're coming into half moon pose, and you can feel free to grab a block for your hand if you like on the pinky toe side, and then you're going to peel open and left hand will reach to the sky. Now, if you like, you can take Chapasana, right? Bending the knee, holding your ankle and peeling open. Okay, that's just an option. And then another option is to transfer your gaze to look down and then come up slowly and do a dancer. Now, if that's really challenging for you, come up to stand first. Take your time, find your balance, and then grab hold of your ankle and move into your dancer pose. Okay, good. Once you've done dancer, lower your left foot to the floor. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. And on your exhale, step it back to plank position. Hold your plank for a moment. And lower either knees, chest, chin, or full chaturanga to a cobra pose or upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Good. Next, step your left foot forward. Okay, so same thing here. We're coming into the triangle forward bend, staying on the ball of the back foot, so it's a wider stance, keeping a bend in the front knee. Right hand's gonna come to the outside of the foot. Left hand will come to low back. You'll start your twist here. This time it's your right eye, outer corner, looking to the left. Sometimes my balance eludes me. Good. Now, left hand reaches up and across. Right arm reaches up and across. Again, we're following the hand. So follow the vision. Left hand across, right arm up and across. One more time. Left arm up and across, and right arm up and across. Good. And then you'll bring your hands back down to the ground. Beautiful. Now we're going to come back into fan pose. So walk your hands to the center. Let your head go. Again, take a moment here. Good. And we're going to come into Skandasana. So when you come into Skandasana, you're going to bend your right knee and then come onto your left heel. Again, we're opening up that liver channel here. And you can hang out here for a bit and then come back up and come over to the left and come on to the heel, opening that inner thigh. That's it. Good. And then you're going to come back up and turn back to face the top of the mat, but take a peek at your back foot. So we want that foot to turn so we can come into our triangle from the ground up. So again, you're welcome to use a block under your left hand, and then you're peeling yourself open. Right hand reaches to the sky. And then we can sweep this right arm up and over. So we're basically getting that liver and gallbladder channel at the same time. That's it. Good. And bring your right hand back to your hip so you can transition, pushing off your back foot into your half moon pose. So again, in half moon, you might take a Chapasana. Okay. So again, just an option. And then you might choose to move to dancer, squaring the hips, and then slowly rising up. Lose your balance, just try it again. Okay. So again, lots of ways to do it, lots of ways to break it apart. Keep looking at something that isn't moving. There you go. Beautiful. And then release your foot to the floor. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step back to plank. Hold plank. Lower chaturanga or knees, chest, and chin. Cobra or upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Good. And then just turn your toes to the right and your heels to the left and bend your knees. Get into your side body here. And then come onto the toes and turn them to the left and the heels to the right and bend the knees. And then come back to your downward facing dog. Good. So now we're going to take our lunge and The word lunge has, I should say the word, yes, the word lunge has the word lung in it. So the back bending aspect of a lunge is very helpful for opening up the lungs. So you're going to look forward and step your right foot forward and lower to your back knee. Okay, now the liver is also really into angles. So right angle of the knee, right, helps with your vision, right, lines you up well. And we want to find a swoop here from the front knee to the back knee so the pubic bone can come forward. Then we'll bring our arms up and we're going to frame up again. So just remember which arm is in front. You're going to hold your opposite elbows. And then you want to lengthen your side body. Good. So it's kind of like you're opening and closing your windows, which has to do with your vision. So we're going to do that 3 times. So drop the elbows down and then inhale, arms up. Exhale and lower. Inhale up and exhale and lower. And one more of those. Inhale up and exhale and lower. And then place your hands back down on the ground and come back to your dog pose. Good. Looking forward, you'll step the left foot forward, drop to the right knee. Same thing, find the right angle, most stable angle. Okay, then again, you have to remember which arm was in front, so swap it, bring the arms up, frame yourself up, lift and lengthen your side body. Take a breath in here, exhale, arms lower. Again, inhale up, exhale and lower. One more time, inhale up and exhale and lower. And then hands will come back down to the ground and you'll step back into dog. Now, walk your hands a little bit closer. So I mentioned twister for vision, right? It also makes you a revolution. So we get revelations from revolutions. So hands are slightly closer to the feet. We're going to take the right hand to the left ankle, bend the right knee, and really think of yourself on a spit as you're spinning around, looking under your left arm. And then place the right hand back down and take your left hand across to hold your right ankle and bend your left knee and look underneath your right arm. And then bring your left hand down and walk your hands back to your regular length dog pose. That's it. Good. And then drop down to your knees for a moment and just take a pause seated. So we're going to move into belly down. Okay, we're going to do a bow pose. And belly down poses are great way to help your digestion. Another great thing to remember, right? And I think I started to mention this, back body, past, front body, future, potential, right? So when you're using your back, your memory to open up the front, right, we're able to rise higher, right? We use the nature of that memory to move ourselves forward in life. So rather than having it pull us backwards, right, which can happen, right? And you can see people whose backs are really hardened. We don't want that to happen. So this is a beautiful thing. So we're going to come onto our bellies and you're going to bend the knees, reach for your ankles, and then use the strength of your legs to peel you up. Take a couple of breaths here. And like you're shooting an arrow, so that energy of springtime, let it go. Turn your head to the right, wiggle your hips. Turn your head to the left, wiggle your hips. That's it. Good. And then head back to center, hands next to your chest, and come into a child's pose. Nice little counter stretch. Knees can be wide or together. Head should rest on something. And this is really, you could think of yourself like a seed or a bulb in the ground, right? So it's very much of a resting pose, right? You can think of a baby in a womb, right? You're doing your growing in here. And so you want to have enough energy stores to really push through partially frozen earth to be able to bloom. So just take that time, right? Equally as important as the doing is just the being in the moment. Good. All right, so let's come back to our dog pose briefly. Walk your feet up to your hands and then take 2 fists, put them between the arches of your feet and hang over. Right, and so I talked about cleaning out your closet. Forward folds are like the cleaning out the closets of your mind. So really think of just like you opened a trap door in your head and you're just letting all the thoughts that are plaguing you spill out. The important ones will stay. And just let it go, right? Again, we want to just let go whatever doesn't serve us right now. Now, you're going to take a block if you have one. So you have something in your hand, sort of as a counterbalance. And I just want to show you, when I come into a squat all the way down, my heels lift up. Okay, I don't want that. I want you to come into a squat where you keep the heels on the floor so the butt doesn't drop lower than the knees. And you're going to drop your head and lift your tail. And notice as I'm here, my torso is resting on my thighs. And the same happens as I bend my knees again. So they never leave each other. And you're going to go up and down, right? So we're getting into those muscles, creating a little bit of heat in the legs, bending and folding. Add the breath. Inhale, exhale. That's it. And then you're going to let it go. Just drop your head down. Good. And then come, have a seat. And we're going to do Parvrita Janushirshasana. Okay, so it's a revolved head to knee pose. So you're going to bend your right knee, straighten your left leg. Take your left hand, you're going to slide it under. So it's basically holding your calf. And then you'll sweep your right arm up and over. So we're opening up that gallbladder channel, side body. Take a few more breaths here. And then rise back up and change which leg is bent. So we're bending left knee, foot into the thigh. Right hand's going to come underneath your calf, and you'll sweep your left arm up and over. Again, stretching into the side body. Good. And then rise back up. Now you'll take a Paschimottanasana, but we're going to do the Katona Yoga style Paschimottanasana. So if you've never done this with me, take a look. Almost as like a happy baby. So you're on your sitting bones. You reach to hold your feet. You'll see I'm making really good contact. My torso is on my thigh. Really, if you have a great fit, your knees will fit in your armpits to begin. Then you want to take a wiggle back, walking your sitting bones backwards. Now your knees may stay bent. That's perfectly okay. because we want the contact of the torso to the thighs. Then you can bring your forehead to rest on a block. You want to just go inward. Again, focus on the breath. Just a few breaths here. Then you're going to hold opposite elbows. And I want you to think like you're opening a window and peeking out. So it's coming out in a back bend, looking through your arms, lifting up. Good. And then take your left hand to the outside of your right knee for a twist. Sweep your arms up. Take your right hand to the outside of your left knee for a twist. Turn back to face forward, and you're going to come lie down on your back. And once you're down, if you want, you can hug your knees in. Just give it a little squeeze. Then you're going to place your feet back on the floor. We'll do one more active back bend. Now, palms can be down, and you can lift your hips, interlacing the fingers or holding the sides of your mat, or slip your fingers underneath your heels so you have a little leverage, and then lift your hips up, and you can wiggle the shoulders in towards each other to really facilitate that. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. Beautiful. Then you're going to come down slowly to your back. And then we'll take the feet wide and drop the knees over to the right. If you like, you can put your right ankle on your left thigh, arms in a T shape here. Take a few breaths. Good. Place your right foot down, lift your knees up, drop them over to the left. And if you like, put your left ankle on your right thigh. Couple breaths here. And then put your foot down, lift your knees up, and then give yourself a little squeeze in here. Curl up like a seed, nice and tight. And then stretch your legs out for Shavasana. So you're going to get comfortable. If you want to make yourself a little warmer, put a sweatshirt on or sweater, some socks. I'm going to do a little visualization with you. And this is from a book called Spinning Inward. It's something that I used many, many years ago when I taught kids yoga. However, the book ranges. So it has for kids through adults. So this particular visualization, which is called Clearing Space, perfect for spring cleaning, is for adults too. So close your eyes. Start to begin to focus your attention on your breath. Notice the air moving in and out of your nostrils. And notice your breath rate. Is it shallow or deep? Long or short? Focus all your attention on your breath. In a moment, but not yet, I will ask you to take inventory of your body, noticing where it is that you carry tension or discomfort. Your task is to focus on each area that I suggest, noticing how it feels. We will start with the feet. Shift your attention to your feet and bring your feet into your awareness. Are you aware of any sensations in your feet? Are they relaxed? Tired? Notice how they feel. Now gently shift your attention to your legs, becoming aware of your calves, knees, and thighs. Noticing if you carry any tension or discomfort in your legs. Now gently shift your attention to your genital area and buttocks, noticing any sensations or tension that you carry in that area. Bring your attention now to your stomach and solar plexus, becoming aware of any tension or discomfort that you may carry in that area. Bring your attention now to your stomach and, oh no, I just repeated that. Sorry, you guys. Become aware of your chest and notice any tightness or discomfort you may experience. Shift your attention to your back and shoulders and notice any tension or discomfort you may carry. Now bring your awareness to your arms, elbows, wrists, and hands, noticing if you hold any tension in your arms and hands. Focus your attention now on your neck and jaw, noticing if you hold any frustration or anger or tension in this area. Bring your awareness into your facial muscles, forehead, and head, noticing if you carry any tightness or discomfort in your head. Now that you've taken inventory of your entire body, choose one area to focus on where you carry tension or discomfort. Good. Now create a box of your own design where you can dispose of all the images, words, people, memories, attitudes, and expectations that are stored in your body. Place it next to you. Now silently say to yourself, I could feel perfectly okay at the present time if it were not for blank. Let each image, word, person, memory, expectation that is stored in your body begin to emerge one by one. As each image appears, put it into the box without censorship or explanation. Continue to do so until you make space for yourself. Begin. I could feel perfectly okay at the present time if it were not for blank. Now put the lid on the box and ask an ally or guide to come and dispose of the box and its contents in a way that is healing to the earth. Once again, focus your attention on your body and notice how you feel. Notice if you've been able to make space for yourself. Enjoy that sensation. Now I will count to 10. And you'll gently start to bring yourself back to full waking consciousness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Start to take some tiny waking movements. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Move your body in whatever way feels right. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. And roll to your side, taking a moment to pause there. Keep your eyes closed, your attention inward, and press up to a comfortable seated position. And then just take a moment here to notice how you feel again. Place your hands together at your heart. Lower your head to your heart and acknowledge yourself for taking the time to show up, to learn the tools so that you can move into a healthy spring for your body, for your mind, and your spirit. I thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.